everybody. It's me again, and welcome to another concert review. And guess what? I finally did it. I finally got to see Jason Bonham and Mr. Jimmy. Oh man, it was such a great show. I saw them at the NYCB, which is the same place I saw Yes recently, and I had a great time. It was a great set. I honestly liked them way more than GTLO. Oh, it was so good. Yeah, all right, let's get started. Okay, so, getting to the concert was pretty much the same as it was last time, nothing really to say about that. Although, when we walked inside the lobby of the, NYCB, it was like, rather than like all like those Yes paintings they had up for sale, it was a lot more like clear. There was more space to walk around, and there was a Christmas tree in the middle, obviously, because it's Christmas season as of the making of this video. And of course as of the concert. But yeah. So at this concert, my friends actually also went. My friends Harris and Matt, my two of my bandmates from Bad Nut actually. Yeah, they were both there. In fact, after the show, I actually filmed this little clip.
Bad Nut at Jason Bonham!
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, Bad Nut at Jason Bonham. So I was pretty excited to see this show because I've been waiting to see Jason Bonham ever since I've been wanting to go see concerts. At one point, I was going to go see him in like 2021, maybe 2022. I don't know. But I remember I was like sick, so I couldn't go. I remember not feeling well at all. But thankfully, that day I was feeling well enough that I decided, we're gonna go. I'm putting on my leather jacket, which was my dad's in the 80s that he lets me wear. I'm gonna put my fucking leather jacket on and we're gonna go. So, yeah. And we went, and I had a great time. So, I'd also been wanting to see Mr. Jimmy for some time due to the fact that he seems to definitely be one of the most dedicated Zeppelin tribute artists in the world. I mean, he looks like Jimmy Page. He plays just like him. He has all the mannerisms. Yeah. Alright, so the set is like starting with like sound effects from In the Light. It's just like the intro to it, not the actual song. And then the actual first song was Immigrant Song. Believe it or not, the start of their set was actually the same as the start of the last GTLO set I went to. So yeah, they played Immigrant Song, and they did the guitar solo, of course, because Mr. Jimmy is there, of course, and, there's Jason Bonham drumming, and, it's really cool. So talking about the members of the band, obviously, Mr. Jimmy and Jason Bonham are, two highlights of the band. They really, know what they're doing, because obviously Jason Bonham is John Bonham's son, and Mr. Jimmy Sakurai is one of the greatest Jimmy Page impersonators ever. The other people they had there were all right. The singer was decent. He obviously looks nothing like Robert Plant, but he was a decent singer, I guess. The bassist kind of looks like Taylor Hawkins for some reason. I couldn't really hear him, to be fair, so I can't really judge. And I also couldn't hear this other guy they had there who was doing some guitar stuff. I couldn't hear, I assume he was playing rhythm on a lot of the songs, but you can't really hear him, to be honest. Although I could hear him when he was doing the keyboard parts, but those are keyboard parts, so you better be able to hear those because those are integral parts of some of the songs. But I couldn't really hear his when he was playing some just the guitars a couple of times. It was really more focused on those four members: Jason, Jimmy, the singer, and the bassist, which is what Zeppelin is really. So I didn't really mind. Yeah, unlike the Yes show, there was no spinning stage at this show. It was just a standstill stage. I guess it really depends on what show you're going to at that theater as to what kind of like seating it'll have, as to like what kind of stage it'll have. And I guess for this one they were just like, all right, let's just have like a regular show. We'll just have a stage right there. And after Immigrant Song, they did Good Times, Bad Times, of course. Which again, same second song as GTLO, coincidentally. Don't worry, though, the rest of the set isn't in like the order GTLO does it. Don't worry, it's more original than that. They do Good Times, Bad Times, and then after that, unfortunately, I didn't really get this on film, but Jason Bonham, starts talking with the audience about like saying like welcome and whatnot, and like who's like first time it is being here, and like who here's like a Zeppelin fan, whatnot. Basically like introducing himself. Most of the stuff you'd expect, and whatnot. Then after that, I believe the next number, again, I could be skipping something here, but I believe the next number after that was Over the Hills and Far Away. I apologize if I'm forgetting something, but yeah, they did Over the Hills and Far Away, and that was pretty cool, because that's a song I haven't seen live yet, so I was very happy to see that song live. Mr. Jimmy, of course. I mean, again, it feels like you're actually seeing Jimmy Page play. So, yeah, Jimmy Sakurai. And at various points in the concert, I kept saying, Sakurai-san! Because san means Mr. in Japanese, so I was, like, calling out to him. And I was, like, cheering. I bet some people will equate that to Masahiro Sakurai, the guy who makes, like, the Super Smash Brothers games, but... Oh, and Kirby as well, but, I mean, I didn't mean that. I meant, Jimmy Sakurai, of course. And man, yeah, he's like really good. He, of course, also has his own band in Japan. We're supposed to be touring the U.S. sometime soon. There's no dates announced. Hopefully, they do announce some dates for here, soon. And, yeah, so, Over the Hills and Far Away was really good. Yeah, alright, let's, moving on to the next song. The, next song was The Wanton Song. Definitely a surprising choice. Actually saw GTLO do this at the first show I saw them at, and, yeah, Mr. Jimmy definitely does it better. Jimmy Sakurai and, Jason Bonham definitely do it better. Yeah, he had the effects on his guitar and everything, I think I was one of the few people in the audience who knew the song. Well, there's probably other hardcore fans in the audience. What am I saying? But yeah, they did a great job with the Wanton Song. Wanton Song's a great, heavy song. Definitely a great song with Physical Graffiti. And then after that, they did Ramble On from Zeppelin 2. That's a bit of a mandatory number for a tribute group, because the band never really played it live all that often, the original Zeppelin, and when they did, it was usually only a part of the Whole Lot of Love medley. But here they do it, and obviously they do a great job. Again, and something I'd like to note about this whole show is that I really loved the way they had the lighting during the whole show. It really, the way they chose the colors for the lights very much gave off the feeling of those 70s concert films where they have those rainbow lights. Not the psychedelic things that you would see in some 60s concerts, not the liquid light shows, but what I mean is they had the rainbow lighting. I'll probably show a picture of it here to show what I meant. They sort of had that at this show, or at least tried to sort of replicate it, where it flashes through various light colors and whatnot. And I that's something I usually only see videos from 70s concerts, whereas more modern ones, that it's usually just standard stage lights. like the more like standard like LEDs. And while these were LEDs, I do like that they tried to, you know, go for the look of like an older concert lighting type of thing, you know. So that was nice. That was definitely one of my favorite parts of the show. I tried to get a few camera shots of that because I really liked how that looked. And yeah. Then after Ramble On, Jimmy gets out this interesting 12-string guitar, like not even like, you know, the double neck, which he brings out later, don't worry, but it's like this 12-string, it's like this interesting, like this like 12-string guitar. I don't really know what kind it's called, but at least it appeared to be 12-string at the time anyway. But and with it, he plays When the Levee Breaks, and it sounded really cool. Now, I'm guessing the reason he brought that out was maybe due to like the slide tuning or something like that. Maybe he just had that one like pre-tuned and he just wanted to use it. So, you know, maybe that's why. Maybe like the slide added, I mean, not the slide, the 12-string added a sound that like fit more with When the Levee Breaks, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that song sounded really good. You know, obviously that's a great song for drums, and yeah, Jason did not disappoint with this one either, and so didn't Mr. Jimmy. Mr. Jimmy did a great job, like the little solo Jimmy does. And although interestingly, since there's actually no harmonica player in this band, so the harmonica track was just like put over the intercom. It was a little awkward because the guy, like the singer guy, was just like walking around and like encouraging people to clap their hands and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, personally, I think they should have gotten maybe a singer who had a bit more of that ability to, whatever, who cares. It still was a good song, so it was a very good song, so, yeah. And then after that song, I remember, yeah, then after that song they do, also from Led Zeppelin 2, okay, well, When the Levee Breaks is from Zeppelin 4, and then Ramble On is from Zeppelin 2. But after that they do What Is and What Should Never Be, again with a slide, but this time I think he was just using like the regular Les Paul. I think he just used the slide for the solo, but yeah, this was another great one. And I really enjoy it. This is another one I really enjoyed seeing them do. They sort of much like more like mellow color lights for this one. It's a little bit more of a mellow song, except for like "Cast away, Christmas, celebrate each day," and whatnot. Yeah, and there's something I was gonna know. Yeah. Speaking of Zeppelin 2, unfortunately they did not play Heartbreaker. But I didn't chant for it this time. Don't worry. This time I was not, fucking chanting for it. But thankfully, I've actually gotten to see Heartbreaker live since seeing GTLO last time, because you see, my uncle, for those of you who remember, is a guitarist himself, and when I saw one of the bands he's in, he invited us to a few shows at like some bars and whatnot. He actually played the song a couple of times, and it sounded really good. He was able to do the solo quite well, and whatnot. So I was very at least happy that I got to at least see my uncle do it. And my uncle's a great guitarist in my opinion. So it was still really cool to see the song live and see him do it as good as he did live. So I was fine. I wasn't as demanding of them playing it. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that that JBLZE really plays it all that often, if ever. It's a shame because great song, obviously. I don't know if they've ever done Dazed and Confused either, especially considering Dazed and Confused is a rather important song in Zeppelin's discography, but whatever. Anyway. So they do What Is and What Should Never Be, and I think it was right after that they did one of the best parts of the concert. Jimmy breaks out the double neck, and for a second I'm thinking this is either going to be the Rain song or the Song Remains the Same. Oh, of course, also Stairway, maybe even Carousel Umbra. But what it actually ends up being is Thank You from Zeppelin 2. And oh my god, it was so good. It starts off, most of the song is played, like how you expect the song to be played, although the solo in the middle is done with an electric rather than a acoustic, and they seemingly keep it all at the length of the original studio recording. It's like the length they go for, I guess. No, not really all that extended, but then after the last verse, and after like the last time he says if the sun refuses to shine towards the end, where it's just him and the organ, what ends up happening is Mr. Jimmy does another solo. Yeah, he does another guitar solo, and the drums come back in, and oh my god, it's so good. It was so good. It was amazing. Everybody was going nuts. It was so fucking good, that solo. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, he was absolutely shredding. And like, I believe that is the solo, that is like the solo Jimmy would do during the actual performances of like Jimmy Page would do during the actual Zeppelin performances of Thank You, where he would just extend the guitar solo. It would all be one big guitar solo rather than two that were like split up here. But like, oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. He fucking shredded. Oh my god, like you wouldn't expect that from, like I was not expecting that, and it was one of the best surprises of the whole damn show. I mean, my god, that was like amazing. And then, right after that song, Jason decides to introduce Mr. Jimmy to the audience, in his like dedication to Zeppelin and whatnot. And he told us a story of how when he first met Jimmy Sakurai, how he asked him, "Oh, can you play, are you able to play Since I've Been Loving You from Madison Square Garden, 1973? And then he said, "Hi," which of course means yes in Japanese. And, well, that was the next number they did. The 1973 Madison Square Garden version of Since I've Been Loving You. And damn, another great one, another great song, more absolute shredding from Mr. Jimmy. It was another great number for him. I mean, he was honestly one of the biggest highlights of the show for me, Mr. Jimmy, because he's someone I've been really wanting to see, because I mean, he's insane. He's like insane how close he gets to the real thing. And I mean, this man has like some dedication, like bravo to him, bravo, like oh my god, he was so good. Yeah, and how about not skipping any songs here? Because I remember, I don't know if it was right after that song or not, but at some point they did The Ocean from Hazard of the Holy, and that was another great one, of course. Like, The Ocean is one of the best songs on Hazard of the Holy, and unfortunately, the real Zeppelin only really played it during the 72 tour and the 73 tours. And I don't know why, because it's a great number for like audience participation. It's a great number, for the audience to sing along to, because it's like la 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 la, and like they were encouraging the audience to sing along here. Now it was a very fun number. It's a very good number for concerts. So yeah, again, I'm really surprised that the real band didn't really play it that much after 73. I don't think they played it at all after 73, which is really weird. Like, they so shoulda and coulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, I guess you could say. Then after that, they moved on to a couple of numbers from Zeppelin 4. They did Black Dog and Misty Mountain Hop. Of course, for Misty Mountain Hop, they have that other guitarist guy who I couldn't hear. He jumps, on the keyboards for that. And again, the keyboard sounded very good. They definitely have the right setting to make it sound like Jonesy's keyboards. Yeah, those sounded good. And then for Black Dog, they do the intro to Bring It On Home, like how they would do for the performances and 73. Yeah, in 73 they would open Black Dog up with the intro to Bring It On Home. Whereas most years of their career, they would open it with Out on the Tiles, with the Out on the Tiles intro. So it's interesting to see them use the less common Bring It On Home intro for it. Both of those songs were very good numbers off of Zeppelin 4. Definitely very good choices. And I remember the singer actually gave a little speech about, how he was introduced to Zeppelin through Zeppelin 4, and how he's borrowed the album from his bigger sister for 40 years, apparently. As like he said that as a joke, obviously, but like he borrowed it. But I thought that was funny as well. Then after that, I keep getting worried I'm skipping songs here. But I believe it was right after one of those songs that Jason Bonham gives a little speech about his history, his childhood with his dad. And he actually mentions that the last year of his dad's life was actually some of the best times they ever spent together. Like 1979 to 1980, apparently that was a great time for him and his father. Like he would really bond over music with him at that point in time. Although since he was a kid, he didn't really know how to appreciate his dad's music, and as such, he called the drummer of the Police better than John Bonham. I mean, the whole audience was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yes, that's a true story." Even though obviously he doesn't think that anymore, but that was a funny little anecdote. And he was telling us about just that whole last year of his father's life, and that was surprisingly a really good year for their relationship. And honestly, it sounds like it was really nice to have him as a father. And he talked about like how he still owns the music system that John had, and whatnot, and like I'm thinking, dang, it still works, and he's like saying, I'm like it still works to this day, and it's still the best sound system ever. Which, damn, alright, I'll take your word for it. I mean, John Bonham owned it, legend owned it, so what damn better be good. And after that, he starts talking about how he went to, of course, the band's famous Nebworth concert. And actually, right after he said that, I said, "Yeah, Nebworth." I think I was the only person who said that. I got a little bit of a kick from my dad because he probably wanted me to shut up. But whatever. So I pointed out, I was like, "Yeah, Nebworth." Because, it's a fairly famous Zeppelin gig. I figured some more people in the audience would know it, but I don't know why I chanted that out. But anyway, and he said that this next song we're going to try and take you back to Nebworth and play it sort of like how they did it at Nebworth. And I'm thinking, what's this going to be like? What's this going to be? Is it going to be in the evening? And essentially what ends up happening is Jimmy gets the Dan Electro and starts playing White Summer. Yeah. You may remember at those DTLO concerts, I thought they were about to play White Summer because they got out the Dan Electro at the beginning of Kashmir. But but here he actually does White Summer and Black Mountainside, and I mean it was great. It was like really cool that I finally got to see White Summer and Black Mountainside in concert. Like that was really cool to finally actually see that in concert. And he did a great job with it, although he didn't do the fast part, he unfortunately didn't do that part. Although I don't know if Jimmy did that at Nebworth, but whatever's yeah. But Mr. Jimmy did a White Summer, and yeah, it was great. Yeah, so I was absolutely partying to that number. Yeah, and the audience seemed to like it quite a bit too. And then, of course, since they said, "Oh, we're gonna do it like how we do it in Nebworth," of course, Kashmir came right after White Summer, which they would also do not only at the Nebworth shows, but also in like 80, I think, and at the and in like 77 as well. That's how they would always do like White Summer directly into Kashmir. So yeah, I like that they were going for a little bit of authenticity there. That was pretty fun. And then I think it was right after that they just did Stairway. I believe it was right after that, and they noted how at the show how Robert Plant actually recently decided to sing the song again, despite hating it. He actually decided to sing the song again, I think on some podcast or something. I haven't watched it. I just know about it because, it was a big deal. I don't know why I didn't watch it. I'll definitely give it a watch after making this video, but regardless, yeah, they pointed out how Robert Plant, despite hating the song, decided to sing the song again. And, yeah, and then of course they do Stairway. I say when it gets to the part where it's like, "In the forest welcome with laughter," I of course say, "Does anyone remember laughter?" And this is another case where I was the only person I could hear who said it. I think maybe my uncle said it too. But the whole audience started chanting after that line. They got all excited, so and maybe they heard me. Oh, I'm a piece of shit, am I? I'm an annoying piece of shit, am I? Oh, whatever's But yeah, I say that during that part, you got to. And then, of course, Jimmy with the double neck does the guitar solo, and it's great. Of course, he doesn't extend it like how Jimmy Page would at the concert, the Real Zeppelin concerts, but he still does, how all the major important parts, of the solo. So it was pretty satisfactory. I was happy with that solo. It turned out really cool. He kept picking up the guitar and vertically holding it. I liked how he would do that. Yeah, and so they did Stairway. I believe right after it, they did Whole Lotta Love. Let me just check here. Yeah, so right after it, they do Whole Lotta Love. And of course, they don't do the whole medley that Zeppelin do, but whatever, that's okay. The rendition of the song they did sounded really good still. And they actually cut the part with the theremin short. He just goes up to it once, just for a couple of seconds, and then then he does the guitar solo. And overall, the song sounded really, really good. Definitely the best performance of it I've seen so far, I'd say. And towards the end, he does the little ending that Jimmy would do with the wah wah pedal. He only does that in concert. Obviously, it's not in the studio version because the studio version fades out, fortunately. But I'm glad that he included that part. And then after Whole Lotta Love, they do Rock and Roll, another great part of the show. This was the end of the show, but this was another great number, great guitar solo. Mr. Jimmy actually moved around way more during this number than during a lot of the other ones. So, he was walking around the stage a lot more. So a lot of people started standing up actually for this one, including myself. And so I was filming this number while standing up, trying to see where Mr. Jimmy would go. And yeah, he does a great job with the solo, of course. Jason Bonham does a great job with that ending drum solo. And yeah, and then they called it a night, pretty much. after that song, and yeah, I came back from the show with a great memory of it. I loved this show. This show was great. Honestly, one of my favorite shows I've seen so far. Way better than GTLO ever was, honestly. This is, like, incredible. It was so good. Finally getting to see Jason Bonham, the son of John Bonham, and Mr. Jimmy, the most accurate Jimmy Page, who isn't Jimmy Page, in the world. Yeah, I would highly recommend seeing them again if they ever come to your area. Or if Mr. Jimmy comes to your area, just with his own band. I hope he does. I hope he comes here with that Mr. Jimmy Led Zeppelin revival soon, because I'd really like to see that band. They seem really cool because they try to like get like really close to the actual Zeppelin style. He literally like recreates actual tours and tour set lists and stuff. It's some really cool stuff. So I'd love to see him at some point, just like his on like a solo tour, on like, why did I say solo tour? No, on one of his tours with his band as well. And yeah, at least for now, I can say I'm glad I got to see him with Jason Bonham. And yeah, the two definitely work very well together. So yeah, if you ever get the chance, check them out. If they come to your town. And yeah, overall highly recommend both of them. Yeah, I had a great time at this show. I had a great time being at a place with my friends, at a concert with some of my friends, and yeah, recommend checking them out. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody.
Enjoy the journey.